Okay, so, you know, they told me that when I was very young, and I don't know if maybe Coach went into some Hall of Fame or something, and he said, you know, it's a great honor, but when you start getting in the Hall of Fames and things like that, that tells you that you're getting old. So I guess I'm getting old. No, it's a great honor to have this facility and this my family's name on something at Colby College. I remember when I walked on the campus here for the first time back in 1997. First thing I thought was maybe I should have took a recruiting visit. I didn't. I signed here on the strength of meeting Coach Lampy. He walked into my house, and I was an 18-year-old kid. He was the first junior college coach to come because everybody thought that I was never going to be going this route. I told Coach on that day, I said, hey, if I don't get into a university, I'm coming here to you. And he said, do you want to come on a visit? I said, no, I give you my word and I'll show up. I took a recruiting visit in the summer to Idaho because they told me it was beautiful, and it was. But I stayed true to my word, and I came to Colby, Kansas. And I truly believe that to this day, it's one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. Because when I got here, I met a bunch of people that cared. I met a bunch of people that understood what it took to build something. Coach Lampy had a belief that with me and a whole bunch of kids from Louisiana, we could win a national championship. And I didn't think we could because nobody ever said we could, but we met Pete Coster and Alex Haynes, and there were a few Russians running around Colby back in that time. And those guys were all good wrestlers. And he said, we can win with these guys. And we did, you know, and we won a national title. And I left here and went to Oklahoma State University, and it was just great decision after great decision. But I never could have imagined when I told Coach Lampy that I would come out to Northwest Kansas, that in 23 years there would be something named in my honor. I couldn't have imagined it in my wildest dreams. I've had some big moments over the course of my athletics career. You know, NCAAs and the fighting and everything else, but I still remember the moment that we secured that national championship as a team. It happened on the first day. Before they were able to get to the second day of wrestling, we were so far ahead that we were already the national champions with 7 guys out of 10. We didn't even take a full team. But we blew them out of the water so bad that by day 1, Colby College already had a national championship, and people were already celebrating. We drove back, and there were people waiting for us as we got into the town. Those moments have stuck with me through all the bright lights and all the, you know, all the fame and all the other things that come with my career today. The moments that I had in Colby are, they're embedded in my heart for the rest of my life. And I can't thank you guys enough for caring for me as a person when I step foot here, and also following me as I've gone on to fight and wrestle and do all these other things. I've kept in contact with Coach. When I had my first world title fight in the UFC, I'm in my room terrified, because you're always terrified before a fight. But I'm in my room terrified, and I'm looking through people's Facebooks, and I see Alex, and I see Pete, and I see all my teammates in the lobby of the MGM Grand in front of my picture. And that there, in that thing, in that moment that those guys were there, I find comfort. And I was able to go and win a world title, because I know that it wasn't all new faces. A lot of athletes get caught up in the new faces, the people that want to be your friend after you have things. I knew that when I looked at those faces that I looked at when I was 18 years old, those guys still support me, and I find comfort in that. I want to thank my cousins and my nephew for coming out. My wife, my 2 children, Selena, and my son Daniel and Marquita, you know, they're my reason for living. The reason they're not here is because my wife sits at home all day getting fear-mongered by Good Morning America and thinks that every day there's a plane crash. So she refuses to fly into cold weather places in the winter. She's like, there's no chance I'm getting on the plane into Colorado in the winter, so she'll be here in the summer. But I called my boys, Terry, my cousin PJ, my nephew Jamel, 2 days before and said, could you guys come up to Colby, Kansas with me? And they said, no questions asked. And that's why I am who I am today, because of the family that I have. There's 60 people in every UFC event from Lafayette, Louisiana, because they don't want me to do this by myself. But I know I could never be who I am today without my journey starting here in Colby, Kansas. I appreciate you guys. I love each and every one of you for the support. Colby Community College, Seth, everybody else, thank you for this honor. I never could have imagined it. And it's about leaving things when you're gone. And this is going to stand forever. So that's what it's always been about. And I appreciate you guys doing this for me. With that being said, enough tooting my own horn. I don't know, in all my experiences, I don't know if I've ever met anybody more charismatic than Steve Lampe. I mean, really. He came into Lafayette and he just stole my heart, man. He had this little, he's short, first off. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Coach is kind of short. And he had this infectious laugh, right? It was like, he sat on my couch and he made me laugh all afternoon with his stories of, he's a fantastic storyteller. I think he should have my job on TV, honestly, because he's a great storyteller. He made me laugh and he made me feel at ease. And he did such a great job of recruiting me that I didn't even have to come out here to know that this is where I belong. And Coach Lampe is the greatest coach in Colby Community College history. It's going to be very difficult to ever pass what he has done. And Ryan, that's no knock on you. I mean, I've seen you on the wrestling mat. Guys, Ryan wrestled. Just know that when I first got here, we were in the middle of the Colby tournament, and in between rounds, Coach Carter got on the mat. Looked like he's about to have a heart attack, but you know, he did it. He did it. And in that moment, I knew, I said, I like that, Coach Carter. But Coach Lampe is the best coach in Colby history. He is the greatest name tied to this community college. He's the greatest name tied. He's an All-American, wrestled with Dan Gable. He won a national championship. He somehow got Becky to marry him. I mean, there's so many reasons why Coach has overachieved in ways that you would never ever imagine. Talk about out-kicking the coverage. Coach, you out-kicked the coverage on a number of occasions. And guess what, man? This community loves him. And because they love him so much, this whole thing, whereas I may have a part of this building named after me, and I'm so honored for it, it is truly named for the correct guy. Brandon, where are you? Get up here. We're going to unveil the Steve Lampe Athletic Center.